What a season 6 this has been so far for the 2025 JBL Cup Series. So many winners and so many fantastic races up to this point. 12 races in, we had the Clash and the All-Star race last week, and now it is time to go all-night racing 100 laps around Charlotte Motor Speedway. The longest race of the season, 3 pit stops at least here tonight. And we'll see on who ends up getting the win in the 2025 Coca-Cola 600 in the Season 6 JBL Cup Series. What's up everyone, it is Nathan Stapleton here, aka NS Race 97, and welcome to one of the most anticipated races for me all season long, and it is a crown jewel event, the third one on the season, and it is the Coca-Cola 600. Six races to go until the season 6 chase, and is getting spicy around the cutoff line, and it's going to be interesting of what ends up happening here underneath the lights at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, 2 seasons ago, the number 21 of Jordan Stout made a name for himself and won it in season 4. Joe Witkowski won this race last year in chaotic fashion, and Jordan Stout got second, and we'll see on who ends up getting the win here tonight. And we got a busy booth here. We got Alex back up here in the booth. And for the first time since winning the Season 5 championship, we have the Season 5 JBL Cup Series champion of Josh Williamson up here in the booth. Welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway, guys.
Thank you for having us. And what a great week of racing it has been across all of our channels. And hey, what a great way to end it with the longest race of the season in the JBL Cup Series. We had an excellent Indianapolis 250 earlier today, and we're going to have one more great race here this evening leading up to the big day tomorrow, of course, in real life. But excited to see how this race goes down. Always a fun one here from Charlotte, as it always is. And 100 laps once again on tap here around this mile-and-a-half racetrack.
And indeed, it's going to be a great test of not just patience, but endurance and machinery. This is the longest race, lap count-wise, we have on a big track all season long. And so these guys are going to be pushed to the absolute limit here under the lights. It's going to be an exciting race to experience, that's for sure.
Absolutely, this race is always one of the best races all year long. Multi-groove action, pit stop strategy, and we normally see some of the best one up front. And that's what we have seen so far this year. But I'm going to ask you this, Alex. Jordan Stout, he's gone first and second in this race in his first 2 seasons. What takes it for someone to be this good in a crown jewel race? And how do you think he could do here in his third one here tonight?
Well, a lot of it is just making sure you have a fast enough car and get in rhythm. This is a racetrack where these guys tend to spread out a lot more than they do at other racetracks. And if you have a fast enough car and you're consistent enough as a driver, then you're going to put yourself in position to win this race once you get down to it. Now, the kicker is there's 3 pit stops in this event, and that's going to make it very interesting. Will we see mistakes on pit lane? Will we see any cautions in this race? We really don't know how that's going to affect it, but because it is a bit of a short fuel run, and these guys are going to be pitting quite a few times here tonight, going to make things very interesting in terms of the strategy. So Jordan Stout, he can be fast enough, but he's got to make sure that everything is perfect on pit lane as well in order to have an opportunity of winning this Coca-Cola 600.
Absolutely, we put a lot of pressure on these pit crews all season long in the JBL Cup Series, but more so than this one. 3 times on a very challenging pit road, and that can make or break the night here tonight. And for Josh, of course, you made the chase last year and won the championship. Right now is 6 races left in the regular season, and for some of the drivers just outside of the top 10, like Aaron Abel, Alex Vitali, Hubert, Bartow, Burnett, and so on, it's running out of time for those drivers to get inside the top 10 or even get a win and get into the wild card. This is not only one of the biggest races of the season, but this could be a race that changes someone's season. So, outside the top 10, how do you think those drivers might roll here tonight?
Well, San Vitale and Hubert already have wins this season. Alexander Rowe does too, but he's down in the standings. He's got to be more aggressive here tonight. But Abel, Bartow, Burnett, Ward, Lopez, Crampton, Rakowski, they don't have wins yet, and they pretty much have to get a win, particularly towards the bottom of that list, around, I would say, Duncan Ward on down the list. They pretty much just need to win to try to get a wild card, and then they got to reel in San Vitale and Hubert. And since they already have wins, those two just need to keep their noses clean. And since this could be a race of attrition as well, even though they spread out, but there's plenty of action that happens deeper in the field, and that can lend itself to trouble. So keep their noses clean, avoid the chaos. It's kind of like an iRacing race. It's better to start in the back sometimes and just work your way through the chaos and get a good points day out of it. I know some people don't like the idea of like good points day. We want to go for the win at all times, but when you're racing for a championship, you take every opportunity you can, and you can't just go wild every single chance you get. Otherwise, that's not going to work out so well.
Absolutely, and this track can be wild, and with the pit roll, with the racing on the racetrack, and also maybe mechanical failures. We've not seen a lot of them, but this is the longest race of the season, so we'll see how it all transpires. Animal is on top of the points with 336 points to his name. A dominant season, but only has a 9-point lead over Local 1 in second. Still ground on pole here tonight. Is in third, 16 points behind. And as far as the chase, race to the chase scenarios, Animal is plus 74, feeling pretty good. Local Dawn plus 65, Steel Grand plus 58. Local Millions plus 56. He's starting to get a roll here in the second half of the regular season. And then Jordan Edwards has had a struggle the last race or two. He's down to 5th in points, but still 40 points above. Warren Kennington insists having a very strong season, but only 24 points above the car line. Jordan Stout, the Daytona 500 winner, plus 19. Juan Garcia, plus 13. Nico San Badillo, plus 12. And then John Anders is the last driver in on points, plus 10. And Abel, the All-Star Open winner last weekend, is 10 points below Alex San Vitale with wildcard number 1, minus 12. Matthew Hubert, the Homestead winner earlier in the season, is in 13th, wildcard number 2, minus 16. Trey Ball, minus 21. Matthew Burnett, minus 24. Duncan Moore, minus 43. Nick Lopez, minus 46. Travis Crampton has been dropping in the standings in the last couple of races. He's now minus 50. And then the big shocker, Joe Rakowski, second in the point standings last year, is 60 points outside the cutoff line in 19th, and the Talladega winner of Alexander in 20th. And it's going to be interesting of what ends up happening here tonight. And on the pole is Stuart Grant in the number 47 as yet another pole for him this season as his third on the year now. And Duncan Wood alongside needs something to go his way. Up and down season. And how about this? Duncan Halverson, 27th in points, starts third alongside Miss Sean Andrews. Travis Crampton and Matthew Hubert, Joe Rakowski and Matthew Burnett. And then Alex San Vitale and Dylan Matthews, also struggling this season, 22nd, is running out of the top 10. And you got a lot of drivers up here all over the place. You got Alan Abel and Bruno Giacomo. One driver having a good season, one not having a good season. And then P.P. Ruiz is up here, Zachary Fitzwater. A lot of drivers all over the place, but you also have some strong names up in the back of the field, like Bradley Weem, like Juan Kennington, Eli Bright, Sam Badillo, Alexander Roach, Jordan Edwards. So this is going to be a wild race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, as it always is. And let's go ahead and get these drivers finally rolling off here for the longest race of the season. Allison and Josh, who do you guys think will win the Season 6 JBL Cup Series Coca-Cola 600?
Well, there's a big logo on the pole sitter of this race that has seen quite a bit of success over on AG, the channel. And you know what? He got the pole. He has won the Coke 600 on my channel in the past. Let's go with Stuart Gratton getting it done here tonight in one of the longest races of the season.
All right, but not so fast. Let's back it up a little bit and look for car number 10, Bruno Giacomo. He actually previously drove for my team in Trinity River Cup Series. He we didn't provide the best equipment for him. I am ashamed of that. But Bruno is a wheelman, but he comes in 33rd in the championship standings. He needs something to go right for him this season. He's only got one top 10. A wonderful opportunity to do it here under the lights in one of the biggest races of the season. Give me Bruno Giacomo to win at 100 laps after 100 laps tonight.
Well, one pit that I'm not surprised about, one pit that will be a feel-good story after his close season that he has had. Well, what a week this has been, and what a month of May this has been. And it will be Stuart Grant and Duncan will lead us to the green. 100 laps, the longest race of the season. Race 13 on the season, and it's the Coca-Cola 600 for the JBL Cup Series. How about that move from Duncan Allison, trying to make a shockwave up towards the front, already qualified third, trying making a 3-wide move for the race lead, but not going to do it as Duncan is going to try and challenge on this outside lane. We will see a little bit of multi-groove action, as we always do at Charlotte, but this inside lane is going to be really mostly want to be, and like I said, we have a jumbled up starting order, and how about this? He won this race last year, trying to get a second win and try to change the season around finally for Legacy Motor Club.
And Joe Rakowski's a very good driver to do that as well. He hasn't had the best of seasons, but what a race to rebound as Duncan Ward's going to move to the inside of Stuart Grattan right here. Grattan's going to try to utilize that outside lane to his advantage, and I think he's finding some grip up there in that 47 machine. I tell you guys, and I'm not even trying to be silly or go with the bid at all. I genuinely think that Stuart's going to have a great chance of winning this race here tonight. And Duncan Ward's going to have a good shot as well, but this is a long race, still a long ways left to go here at Charlotte. But these guys trying to settle into their positions as this thing runs along.
Here comes the 8 of Ward down to the inside again, looking for another chance there on Stuart Grattan. A couple of rookies here side by side. In fact, rookies in the first 3 positions, because we get the 15 of Duncan Halverson right there, still hanging in it. It is the 34 of John Andrews there, rounding out the top 5 behind the 43 of Joe Rutkowski. Is to the inside. The 8 of Duncan Ward is going to edge out Grattan at the line. Will he hold the position going into turn number 1? He gets the jump. It looks like he will, but here comes Joe Rutkowski, veteran, to the inside. And being followed by John Andrews there in the Hers number 34 for Front Row Motorsports.
One of the iconic schemes of Ben Watson, and cool to see that he underneath the lights, and John Andrews, he's another guy, and I think front row, they've had a slow and quiet start, but I think looking hot right when the summer is about to hit here in the calendar year. And look at Duncan Allison trying to make it 3 wide through the middle, and I said the racing's going to be off the charts, and I meant it. 3 wide right here, possibly with Sam Vitale, who won the last Crown Jewel race at Darlington in dramatic fashion and dominating fashion. It's been an up and down season for Team Penske, but Sam Vitale is still looking like it's going to be the leader here, and Crampton needs a good one, dropping in the points, and almost needs a win to get into the chase, and that can be said for Joe Kowski as well. In second, trying to get his second closest on the win as someone is off the pace. Zachary Fitzroy is on pit road.
Oh no, not Fitzy.
No.
And I think the 16 might just blown up the engine as well.
Oh, jeez. Are you kidding me? Oh, there he is.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no, Monaco.
Just like in real life.
ECR, you guys suck.
Oh my goodness. That sums up Monaco's scene. Fast cars, bad luck.
Yeah, that
oh
was
my goodness.
not what you want this early on in the race, and you pointed it out, Nathan. We could see ourselves some mechanical failures in this race. Well, we anticipate that happening once they've put a good number of laps on these machines. So already 2 drivers with issues, Fitzwater and Eric Monaco, and still no caution. These guys still racing it out, and that means that their nights are done here in this Coca-Cola 600. But how about Halverson in that 15 machine? So the driver has not had a good season. Just got around Stuart Grattan right there, up to the 4th position. Hey, where's our four-time winner this season of Andrew Miller, I should say. He's having a good run here. Watch out for him to move up in this race. I feel like that 21 machine's going to have a good opportunity once we get down at the end of it as well. He's been one of the best drivers all season. I think he's going to have a good opportunity of doing so here as we're already a 10th of the way through this Coke 600.
They're just in between the 20 of Matthew Burnett and the 11 of Aaron Abel. Meanwhile, go to the inside back there, Jordan Edwards in the number 9. Thinks better of it, pulls back in line behind Aaron Abel. 24 of Trey Bartow stalking behind as they start to get accordion together, going through the quad oval. Now Abel goes to the inside, looking on Andrew Miller, down to the inside, heading into 1, and some momentum here on the bottom side for Aaron Abel. Comes in 3rd. Wait, never mind. That's wrong. He's in his 3rd season of competition. I read that wrong. Down to the inside, he'll take the position. Bartow following in behind, and another good battle here. Stuart Grattan in 47 on the outside, 48 of Juan Garcia inside, and another battle manifesting behind and ahead. There goes the 15 of Duncan Halverson down to the inside of John Andrews, and Andrews is going to get freight trained going down the back straightaway, but good battling here early on as here comes the 5 of Matthew Hubert taking a look, but will not get to the inside of Halverson just yet.
Yeah, honestly, I think the top 2 of Witkowski and Wood are pulling away, and I think Halverson, he has a good car, but I don't think he has a great car, and he might be holding these guys up for 3rd place with Hubert, Clampton, Local Dorn. Juan Garcia, he's been quiet. He was all-time wins leader, and now he's in a fierce battle with multiple drivers here on the channel. And he wants to keep that here tonight and running good at inside the top 10. And you mentioned Jordan Stout earlier, Josh. He has a impressive record in this race, especially 1st and 2nd in his 2 starts, running inside the top 10 with his teammate trying to get inside the top 5 as we're doing a bounce into Clampton there. And multi-group action galore here at Las Vegas. This is in Las Vegas at Charlotte. But only of that 14 still got a long way to go. And I will say, we got 2 seconds of fall here tonight. We increased it a little bit. Right now, it's about a second. And then around lap 28 to 30, it's going to be 2 seconds. So you got to have a long one car here tonight.
And with that, once you get down later in the run, it's going to be harder to make moves. Of course, the Wawa Cup Series race. Last week at North Wilkesboro, we saw a massive fall-off in that race, and I'm sure we saw some fall-off last night when the Wawa Cup Series was here. But hey, how about Joe Rutkowski? You know, he won this race a year ago. Uh-oh. Rewind back. And someone almost got spun. Who was that? That is...
the 51.
51.
Wyatt Wilkinson.
Oof.
Wyatt Wilkinson, rookie driver to the series. That's something that we can see. That backstretch right there off the exit of turn 2, that is the trouble spot here at Charlotte. If we do send any wrecks here tonight, more likely than not, that's where it's going to end up taking place.
But what a save by Wilkinson going down the back straightaway, a veteran save for the driver of the 51. Rogel Dorn now taking a look to the inside of the 15 of Duncan Halverson. Halverson trying to make that outside work on the 45 of Crampton into the dog leg. It is going to be Crampton ahead of this bunch. He settles into the 4th position, being followed by Rogel Dorn. 2 on the outside. It's Halverson and Andrews. Andrews trying to make it a 3-wide situation in between Halverson and Grattan, but pulls back in line. Just behind there's the 23, Jordan Stout, 2311 Racing driver. Now battling with the 48 of Juan Garcia, who's starting to close in on the leaders. Aaron Abel, a gap back to the 11. Andrew Miller tucked in behind for the time being. Of course, we're going to see pit cycles shake things up later on if this race continues going green. Expecting 3 cycles for this race, so it should certainly shake things up if this race went incident-free. But up front, it's Duncan Ward leading the way. Joe Rutkowski is on the attack, heading down the front stretch and into turn number 1. He's within a half second of the 8 car. See if he can reel him in.
We'll see what Joe Rutkowski can do. It's been a very up and down season, and Leximo Club, they have struggled, but they've had speed as of late, but they've had bad luck. And I can recall a couple of races so far where Eli Blight could have won, and that's not been the case. And that's just been that type of season. It's been a season where if you have a single mistake, it will take you out of the race and you will pay for it. And we've kind of seen that in the Wassup Cup Series as well this year, where if you have a mistake, that can easily take you out and make you drop down the points. And that's what happened to Blight and Witkowski. And they are running decently, at least Witkowski. But Duncan Ward, he's trying to make the statement. He's seen local door and won up front all season long. Got the win at Auto Club. Might have won a couple of other races for local Dawn. But Duncan's trying to make a noise for himself here. But make some noise for himself. Witkowski trying to get his second Coca-Cola 600 win. And then Matthew put in one of 2 Coca-Cola Zero Sugar colors. And the number 5 and the no Clifton and a silver number 99. And very similar schemes. Local Dawn in the 4th position. And I'm liking LCR. They've been strong this season. With Leonard Kochma as the owner. And both of them inside the top 5. Howson's still doing a good job running inside the top 10. But we'll see what happens on the first round of pit stops around lap 28 to 30 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, we're already closing in on that. You know, it's funny you mentioned Duncan Ward, who a couple weeks ago at Texas Motor Speedway blew an engine while leading the race. And, you know, it's not even a mistake, but something like that can really drop you in the points. I know he's been kind of around the cut line over there in the Wassup Cup Series. Well, he needs a good win, a good run here in the JBL Cup Series, because he only sits 16th in the standings, but a win here tonight would be huge in moving himself at least in a shot for the wild card. But regardless of the fact, Duncan Ward and Joe Rutkowski, especially if this race stays green, these are going to be the 2 contenders for this race win as this race moves along here tonight. And both of these guys definitely have what's in it. What it takes to win this race. They absolutely have what it takes to win this race here tonight. So we'll see if that ends up being the case as we move on. Good run for Jordan Edwards as well in the 5 machine. And then the 3 machine as well. Good run there for Rogel Dorn, who won the Wassup Cup Series Coke 600 last year in 2024. This is the type of racing that he excels at, and it's good to see him actually be in a good car over here. It's not been the case for him in the Wassup Cup Series, unfortunately. Glad to see him have a top 5 run here tonight. And he's also going to have a shot at winning this race as we move on throughout this one here tonight as well.
And here comes Rogel Dorn with a good long one cut, it looks like, for this 3 machine. Looks like Duncan might be slipping up a little bit on the long one. Witkowski closing in. And that's the thing, you gotta manage the tires, you gotta manage the equipment, but you also gotta have a car that's good on the long one with the 2 seconds to tire fall off here tonight. Rogel Dorn and the 5 of Matthew Hubert still side by side, but it's gonna be a RCR 1-2. Crampton looks like he has a long one car as well. And once again, Howson looks like he is not as good on the long one. Still decent, but not great. The 3 is going to be in position number 3. But these top 2 are pulling away, and I don't know what these guys really want to do here tonight, because we got 3 pit stops here, and I don't really know if the undercut or the overcut will work out here in this one.
Well, we'll see when the time comes. Meanwhile, the gap to the lead up front has shrunk. Rutkowski now within 0.2 of a second of Duncan Ward. Meanwhile, the battle for 4th place, Crampton inside of Matthew Hubert, coming out of turn number 2, and up front for the race lead. Here comes Rutkowski down to the inside of Ward. Ward making that outside work, much like we saw Stuart Gratton do in the opening sections of the race, and looks like he's going to hold on to the lead. Meanwhile, we have a pack of cars back here in this mix. Nathan, I'll let you figure all this out.
Yeah, this is a mess, and this is all because of the 15 really struggling on the long one. Miller making it 3 wide through the middle. Same with Dio in the mix as well. And April Tornadoes, a lot of drivers that we've seen a lot up front this season, and we have to be careful as I think pit stops are happening right now. And John Andrews is going to do the undercut. Oh boy.
Yeah,
Boy,
that
that's
could have
gonna be
been
interesting.
really bad right there, but thankfully they kept it together. Still got to get through this cycle, though. It's going to be interesting to see how it ends up cycling through here. And will the undercut work? You know, you mentioned Nathan, you got a two. I'm out of it. Hey, you know, we've recorded so much stuff for Indy 250 week. It has been such a great week. It's been, I can't. I'm just commentated out at this point.
Oh no!
We gotta get through the cycle, and Duncan Halverson is gonna
big
get penalized
speed.
for that. That is not what you want to do going into the pit lane right there. He had committed and had to drive through the grass, but he was very fast. We'll have to see if they penalize him for that. That was not a good move.
I'll guarantee you he'll get penalized for at least 15 seconds. Meanwhile, Duncan Ward and everyone else comes to a stop. Here comes Stuart Gratton to stall number 1 on the pit road. Everyone's going to take 4 tires, of course, the end of a cycle. We'll see who gets out first. Onto the left side, and there goes Rutkowski. Ward is going to win the race off, but Rutkowski's got more speed. Ward gets up to speed, and he'll hold on to what could potentially be the race lead. We'll have to wait and see where John Andrews cycles out. Meanwhile, here comes the third group in, and yikes, a sketchy exit there for the 17 of Kyler Sustre, and almost trouble there with the 4 of Kenneth Miller. Kenneth Miller got really close to hitting that 17. Here comes the 3 of Rogel Dorn out. Everyone else is out. Jordan Stout out. And here comes... Can't quite tell the number on that. That's the 6th car of Anthony Hernandez in. He might be the last one. I don't know how much I like the overcut. But now we just wait to see who cycles into the race lead. Where does Andrews cycle out? Here's the lead group. There is Duncan Ward. There is John Andrews. So it actually looks like it's helped him. He's going to gain a few spots after that.
Oh yeah, definitely looks like the undercut helped the 34 of John Andrews here, and looks like that might have been the case for the 48 of Juan Garcia as well. Things are still cycling out, and it's going to be interesting on the overcut versus undercut. Hernandez is at a very tough season, did the overcut, and then John Andrews did the undercut. Rutkowski in the 2nd position. Duncan Wood still out front. And then, of course, tough way for Duncan Halverson. He was having a great one here tonight. Was falling off on the long one, but of course got penalized right there, and he is now on the tail end of the lead lap behind a off-cycle Fitzwater in the 71. That's going to block Duncan Ward. Going to try and get to the inside, and Duncan Ward has officially cycled out as the race lead. And oh my goodness, Fitzwater on that off-cycle with that tire issue is holding up everybody. And that's going to allow Rutkowski could to close in. Same with maybe Juan Garcia and John Edwards here. And John Andrews. I should say, we are all tongue-tied here tonight. It's been a lot of recording, like Alex says here this week.
Somebody's got to, like, count, including your stuff, Nathan, how many miles of racing we've actually done in the past 2 weeks on the channel. I think it's quite a bit. You know, we did 250 miles earlier today. We got 150 more tonight.
It's
One
been
thing,
a lot.
you know, Fitzwater's always someone who tends to complain about lap cars. Well, he was a lap car in that situation. But, you know, interesting to see how this cycled through, and I think it cycled through very much how it was when they came down. I think John Andrews is going to have a bit of an advantage to start off, but those tires are going to fall off quicker, and I don't know if that's going to work out in his favor. Good run there for Andrew Miller, who's now top 10. Stuart Gratton still top 10, so is Rogel Dorn in the 3 machine. And you got the 45 there. How about Travis Crampton with a good run in this race? He needs it. He's been falling off a little bit lately. And these are similar drivers that we tend to see up front, at least Miller and Crampton and, well, normally Rogel Dorn, if he was actually driving a car in the JBL Cup Series this year, he would be a little bit further up in the field, but definitely a lot of strong drivers up front of this race. You also got that 24 there, Trey Bartow, which I like to see that. Bartow hasn't had a good season in the JBL Cup Series there. He is running in 6th right now. And we'll see if Bartow has a shot at this one. But hey, great to see him run that cycle clean in green. And we're still green flag racing here at Charlotte. And these races are always so fascinating when they go green because, like I said, they do tend to spread out here. The fastest cars, fastest drivers are the ones who end up getting the race victory. And you definitely earn it in a race like this. And that is what Duncan Ward is currently doing in that 8 machine.
Absolutely.
Side-by-side battle here with the 48 of Juan Garcia, John Andrews inside. Help from the 5 of Matthew Hubert. And Andrews is going to clear. Now the two Hendrick teammates will go side by side. Hubert has the preferred line apparently going through 3 and 4. We'll see about 1 and 2 if the outside, if Garcia can get it. I don't think these tires have rubbered in quite yet, so the inside's probably going to be preferred here for the first few laps. Later on, we may see the outside lane come in, but here's Miller holding off the 45 of Travis Crampton, holding on to the 7th position on the racetrack. We're used to seeing Andrew Miller up to the front, but up to the front leading the race this season. That hasn't happened yet tonight. But Crampton down to the inside of the 21 with Rogel Dorn in behind him. The 20 of Matthew Burnett there stalking them as well. And Stuart Gratton, the pole sitter there, rounding out or falling just outside of the top 10 now, tucking in behind the 20 of Matthew Burnett. And so that cycle appears to have not gone well for Gratton. Actually, he is 10th. The standings just updated,
Burnett
so he is
unfortunately 1 lap down. I don't know what happened to him, and that's unfortunate. The 15, of course, we saw the penalty. The lap down. Sestron 1 lap down, Burnett 1 lap down, and then Fitzwater is 3 laps down, and then Monaco blew a header very early on here in this one, so tough break for Burnett, and Fitzwater is now on pit road, but caution-free up to this point. And last year we saw multiple cautions in the Coca-Cola 600, and luckily it's been clean and green up to this point. Duncan Wood dominating, but not by a ton, as Wachowski is still maintaining that gap. Might have to watch out on John Andrews if he ends up burning up his stuff, because he did do the undercut. Juan Garcia and Matthew Hubert. Trey Barlow, 300 cars inside the top 6. Travis Crampton needs a good one to build up something, 50 points below the cutoff line. And then same Stuart Glenn and Local Dorn, those two are 2nd and 3rd in the point standings. Sam Dio, he's another driver, kind of like Duncan Wood. I mentioned at the top of the season, we have such a stacked rookie class with Sam Dio, Dorn, Duncan Wood, Stuart Glenn, just those 4 alone, and then also some of the other rookies. And we've seen a handful of them get a race win up to this point, Dorn and Glenn, but this might be the night that we see Duncan Wood get the job done. Sam Dio has had a good stretch, but almost halfway through the longest race of the season.
And Duncan Ward has led a majority of these laps as well, and he's in a good position. This is playing out a lot like last year's Wassup Cup Series Coke 600. Mind to tell you folks, I have not recorded the Wassup Cup Series Coke 600 that you folks saw last night, so I don't know what happened last night yet, but I will say, this reminds me a lot of Rogador and Blaine Keys in the 2024 Coke 600, where you have those two guys, and Rogel just had that slight advantage on Blaine the whole way through, and Blaine was never able to get to him. That's kind of what Joe Rakowski is in right now. He's about a second off. Yeah, maybe not quite a second off of Duncan Ward, but he's not been able to really get around this 8 machine. Did go for the race lead just before the cycle of pit stops, but Duncan Ward has seemed to have the advantage the whole way through. And if this race stays green, that number 8 machine is going to have the advantage, I feel like, the rest of the way. But still not even halfway through this Coke 600 yet. And a lot of these guys could definitely play the strategy in the pit cycle to work to their advantage. We'll see if that ends up being the case as we move through. Stuart Gratton there still in the top 10 in the 47 machine.
It looks like he's going to get that spot from the 45 at Crampton. Meanwhile, someone I don't believe we've talked about all night, the 77 of Nicholas Samadio moved into the picture.
Oh,
They're at the gate. Oh, trouble there. What happened to the 2 car of
Tire.
Justin
Another
Seidel?
tire.
Oh,
No.
man. This is a tough racetrack on tires, though, so I think he's the only one we've seen with tire trouble tonight, but man, this place eats up tires really, really fast. We're already halfway through this cycles. They came down on lap 28, 29, 30, and 31, so tough break there for 5-time winner on this channel, Justin Seidel, 2-time winner in the Cup Series. That is just a tough break. Not the way, most certainly, he wanted his Coca-Cola 600 to go.
Yeah, he's had a tough up and down season. Was 21st in the point standings, and ties are being eaten alive here tonight. We got a 2-second tire fall off, and that is longer than last year, or more than last year. Is only like the second half. So we got 2 seconds to maybe even 2.5. So that's definitely playing a factor. But you mentioned San Mateo. We've not seen him a lot here tonight. Halfway through the 600, and you might be a little bit happy about this one. Of course, this is the car that you won the championship last year. And Sam Zito slowly moving his way up in the point standings. Lost a position last time out at Kansas 2 weeks ago, but he's inside the top 10 picture, and I think Sam Zito's going to be someone that is going to enjoy this pairing with Caleb Rose in another series. And he's definitely taking advantage of it, and could be a driver like Duncan Wood, where it's been a lot of local doing and Stuart Grant, but I think Sam Zito and Duncan Wood are closing in as far as the rookies are concerned. Halfway through next time
That's your rookie class.
Oh yeah, that is a very good rookie class.
That is a very good rookie. Hey, Duncan Ward's really the only one that's a true rookie. Because both Grattan and Dorn and Sam Mateo have been around for a long time, with many wins over on my side. Even Duncan Ward's won in the Wassup Cup Series, so you got yourself a very good rookie class here in the JBL Cup Series. And that's made things very interesting in terms of who's good in this series and who has the advantage. And you know, you're seeing Grattan, you're seeing San Mateo move their way up in the field now. As that, I think the tires are going out in that 34 machine. He came down a couple laps earlier than the rest of the field right there, and that is not playing to his advantage right now.
Yeah, but give a call to Duncan Ward, though. He is 16th in the standings coming in, gained 3 spots last time out. He is 1.4 seconds ahead of the field. Man, he's dominated the race so far. He doesn't have the wild card. He's at 229, and Matthew Hubert's at 256. Alex Sandoval's at 260 coming into this race. So he needs to reel them in, and a win's a good way to do that. See if he can, as we're just past halfway. San Mateo now down to the inside of pole sitter Stuart Grattan. Grattan trying to make that outside work. They're dead even coming out of turn number 4, but of course the traffic there of the 48 of Juan Garcia is in the way. This is a battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and the beneficiary is going to be who else but Mr. Edge.
You know what? He might be in position to have a say for this race win. Up to 3rd now, all of a sudden for San Mateo, and he's not too far behind the top 2. They really need to close it in, but Duncan was just gone. He's pulling away from the 43 to a 1.6 second lead, and this battle for 3rd is intense stuff, though. San Mateo, Glenn, we got Juan Garcia, Benet, the lap down, Matthew Hubert, Trey Barlow, John Andrews, Travis Crampton, and Mocha Dorn. We got 3rd through 10th, all under a blanket, all bound for 3rd here at Charlotte. Great stuff all night long, even though Duncan Wood has dominated. We still have great racing throughout the entire top 10.
Yeah, and I think guys like San Mateo and Grant, if we have 2 more cycles, they could definitely use those cycles to their advantage and actually be in position to win this race on basis of pit strategy. And we'll see if that ends up being the case for him. But that 77 is looking really quick right now. Trey Barcher battling with his teammate there, Jordan Edwards. You got Travis Crampton, John Andrews, Rogel Dorn up here, Stuart Grattan, Nicholas San Mateo, Joe Radkowski, Duncan Ward. I mean, look at these names that we got up here. Only one of those guys has never made a start on my channel is Jordan Edwards, and he has a lot of success here in the JBL Cup Series. So this has been a lot of fun, seeing these big names up front in this race. And I tell you what, it's anyone's race, I feel like, because they're all still within 5 seconds of each other right now, and they're also going to have a good opportunity of winning, especially if we happen to get a yellow at some point between now and the finish of this race.
Ooh, that was almost a bad block, and that almost became a yellow, and I'm surprised we've not had a caution yet. I'm going to Stapleton, just watch it. I'm going to say it, and we're going to have
watch
a
out.
Caution. Well, we might get Crampton going to make it 3 wide for the 7th place spot.
Oh my goodness.
Whew.
Can you say sketchy? This is getting really intense coming out of turn number 2. Andrews is the sandwich in between Travis Crampton and Trey Bartow. Bartow's sticking it on the outside. He's got the advantage right now. Works a little higher line going through the corner, out of the corner. Crampton now with the advantage. Bartow on the high side. And Dorn's trying to figure out a way to go. Want to go high, want to go low. Who you going to help through this great wall going through turn 1 and 2? Andrews now with the advantage through the middle. Bartow falls out of it. Contact between those two. They hold on to it. Dorn backs out of it wisely. And it's going to be Andrews. Never mind. Crampton with a huge dive bomb heading into 3 and 4. All the way down on the white line. Out of the corner. And at the line, Andrews for the moment, but they're not done yet. Here comes Crampton back at him in a double battle here, heading into turn number 1 as Dorn flies by the 24 of Bartow. What fantastic racing we're seeing here.
You were saying we're going to blow the doors off of the racing in this race.
Baby!
John's way up high there. I think the cycle's going to begin here in just a moment, and it is. There's Jordan Edwards down. John here staying out. Those tires are absolutely shot on that machine at this point. So we'll have to see how this ends up cycling through for these guys. But here we go. Second stop of the race for these drivers here at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. At Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Coca-Cola 600.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I mean, with some of the racing that we are seeing is absolutely chaos. And this is what I thought we would see. Maybe someone dominate, but still, it's hard to not have good racing on this version of Charlotte. And we'll see what ends up happening with the second group of drivers led by Stuart Gratton. And looks like everyone's gonna do a good job. You know, that first mistake was with Duncan Alston, a rookie. And looks like we are gonna be good here so far for the second. Oh no! Garcia and Miller make contact on pit road. That's gonna slow.
Tight pit lane here.
Oh yeah, and that's gonna slow down that 21 machine off the exit.
He's able to continue on, but wonder if that's going to affect his arrow at all. Here comes the 31 of Owen Miles in. Haven't talked about him all night. And a quick getaway for the 9 of Jordan Edwards up at the head of pit road. Who's going to win the race off with that?
Oh
and
no!
Trouble, more trouble in the pits. Rogel Dorn, who was just in the middle of that cluster with John Andrews, Travis Crampton, and Trey Bartow, has gone around in the pits. Here comes the 6 of Anthony Hernandez in. Duncan Ward is out. Juan Garcia is out. There's Stuart Gratton. And in comes the 20 of Matthew Burnett as well. Out goes the 23 of Jordan Stout.
Well,
and once again, we'll have to wait and see how this cycles. I bet Duncan Ward's still going to be leading this thing.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I would imagine that the gap is going to be even bigger than it was before.
Absolutely.
Just what a performance out of the rookie Duncan Ward tonight. Just phenomenal. And this is getting a little close for comfort. Holy moly, that's the dangerous thing about green flag pit stops, is getting back out onto the racetrack with cars flying by you at full speed. That could have been very costly.
Tell you what, we've not had a caution yet, and we've not needed one, because the racing action has been chaotic, and we've had already enough mechanical issues and pit road issues to combat for the caution-free racing so far. Duncan Ward has a 2.5 second lead over Rutkowski in second. Trey Bartow is in third, those two know each other very well. Matthew Hubert in fourth. And fifth is Stuart Gratton. Sixth is Juan Garcia. Seventh, as he almost takes out his teammate, he was off strategy. Same with Dio in seventh, drop back. Local Lunacy got a bad qualifying effort, and he's now inside the top 10 and 8th. Travis Crampton in 9th, and then Jordan Edwards is Mr. Consistency this season, rounding out the top 10 as he almost turns to 20. We might not be done with precaution. We might have a late race yellow here, because these cars getting antsy here late in this one.
Oh, BB Ruiz still sitting in the pits. I wonder what happened there with the one car.
Nothing in the chat. Tough wait for BB Ruiz right there. And oh boy, what a race so far.
Yeah, I mean, now you're seeing these guys really spread out, though, on that 8 machine and Duncan Ward, 2-second lead on the field. He's in a pretty good spot right now to have a shot at this win. And how about both of these Hendrick cars, both Jordan Edwards and Trey Bartow, keeping within roughly the same distance, but unless something happens to Duncan Ward, I feel like he's going to run away with this thing. Still a long ways left to go, though. A lot can happen between now and the finish. And hey, JBL Cup Series at Texas a couple weeks ago, he blew an engine while leading the race. So I know he's thinking about that in the back of his mind after what happened to him in that one. But still, what a great race we've had so far.
Don't you put that evil on me, AG.
Hey, I do it to everyone. Just ask Andrew Williams. Definitely a lot of fun here tonight. And how about the 6 machine? A great run there.
He's a lap down.
Or is he a lap down? Oh, I'm so sorry.
He's a lap down.
The 5 looks like a 6 on the scoreboard, and I don't have it up big enough to see. Sorry there to Anthony Hernandez for getting his hopes up there. Jordan Edwards, though, he's the one who's third. He's having a good run, that 5 machine tonight.
No, he doesn't have hopes. He should know he's driving the 6 car for RFK in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, he did try a strategy of doing the overcut, and to his credit, he is running decent in 26. That's one of the better ones for this team, and it's just not been that good of a season for Will Parrish and that team. And we'll see what ends up happening. We got all 4 Hendrick cars inside the top 10. Would like to mention that of the 5 of Matthew Hubert, the 24, Trey Barlow, and then Jordan Edwards and Juan Garcia. And right now, I do believe it's going to be most likely the 8, but this battle between Jordan Edwards and Logan Williams. Logan Williams missed it consistent late in the regular season. John Andrews has fallen back a little bit in the 11th spot. How about Alexander? Well, we've not really talked about him all night long so far. The Talladega winner, he is in a wild card fight, and he is having a good one inside the top 10 or top 12. And then Eli Blight, just like his teammate, having a solid top 15 one. And then Marlon Kennington and Sam Vitale doing battle with Jordan Stout. Looks like it won't be a 3rd place one for Jordan Stout. Go 1, 2, 3 on his 3 starts in this race. And then Local Dorn has really dropped back to 17th position for Local Dorn. A bad pit stop cycle. Nick Lopez in 18th, and Miller all the way to the 19th position, and Abel all the way to the 20th spot. And then Dylan Matthews, Bradley Ream, Wyatt Wilkinson, and Bruno Diacomo. Those two are having at least decent ones so far. But Diacomo just got lapped by the race leader and dominated here tonight of Duncan Ward. But we still have one more pit stop probably around lap 90.
And that's going to be right near the end of this race. So will we see some drivers take strategy, maybe go fuel only to get out there and maybe surpass Duncan Ward, because that tire wear is very significant. But will the track position be the key at the time on the pit lane? So that could get interesting considering when that pit cycle is going to be. Duncan Ward's got to be careful here not to put himself in a bad situation, because he still only has himself a couple seconds of a lead ahead of Joe Rakowski right there, which is still quite a bit. But Bruno Diacomo here in the 10, a lap down, looking to the inside of him right here. We'll have to see. Hey, Duncan Ward's going for his first ever win on the channel, if I'm not mistaken. Never won before in this series, and what a win it would be for Duncan Ward if he could pull it off here in this Coke 600.
And now down to the inside, here comes Bruno Diacomo on Duncan Ward. Bruno's a lap down, so Duncan, I'm sure, is not worried about it. He's got a 2.35 second lead over Joe Rutkowski, as Rutkowski is now being hounded by a hungry Matthew Hubert. Not able to get the position just yet. Hubert gonna tuck in behind, see if he can make another run at it heading into turn number 1. The race sponsor on his hood. Here he goes to the inside, side by side, heading into turn number 1. A good old Chevy Toyota battle through 1 and 2. The advantage to the Chevrolet. Heading down the back straightaway, Rutkowski driving back on the outside, heading into 3. And looks like Hubert is going to clear for the time being, but Rutkowski's been strong all night long. Don't let your guard down just yet, Hubert. He'll be coming right back at you. And speaking of who's coming back up the field, Stuart Grattan, where have you been, man? He fell back early, and he's all the way back up to the 4th position now. Now he's coming to life as we're getting later in this race. You know, he's hoping for a caution because there's no way he's getting back up if we don't have it right now. Almost 4 seconds behind. Just what can you say about Duncan Ward except dominant? What a run tonight.
This is not helping him though. Bruno Giacomo really wants his lap back, and we've been seeing it. I think Hubert saved his stuff, and he has a flying race car right now, and with Bruno Giacomo racing the race leader like that, it is now down to 1.74 seconds, and Duncan was probably not happy about that, and I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to try and just put him back a lap down. That's probably just the smart thing, and he lost some more ground, so this is not over. This 5 car of Hubert is pulling away from Joe Rutkowski, and you know what? He did the same thing at Homestead. Didn't really see him all race long. Snuck up late and stole it to get his first win on the season. Can Matthew Hubert get a second win on the season as he's seeing double as he's catching up to the 99 of Noah Clifton? Similar scheme, just silver numbers instead of black numbers. But this is not over, guys. This is not over between the 5, 43, and maybe even... well, not maybe, but even Duncan Wood as well. 22 laps to go, and still a pit stop left to go.
I would like to apologize to Matthew Hubert. I have mistakenly thought that was Jordan Edwards in that car all night long, and it's actually Matthew Hubert. But you know what? If he gets this win, he's not going to care about that. And he's closing in close to within a second now. Lost a little bit of time behind the 99, but we still got another cycle left in this race, and Hubert may very well take advantage of that considering how much speed he's got at the moment on this 8 machine of Duncan Ward. This can get very interesting between the top 3, and maybe even Stuart Grattan has a shot at this one if he pulls something in F47. Going to be a great race at the finish with about 20 laps to go here in this Coke 600.
To borrow a quote from Murray Walker, "Ding dong, are we going to see a race now?" Duncan Ward there being hounded still by Bruno Giacomo. Now within 1.1 seconds, Matthew Hubert as he's clear of the lap traffic for the time being. All by his lonesome trying to draft up to Bruno. Oh, this is bad for Duncan Ward. Down the backstretch and Bruno is there. Oh, that's going to hold. Big time slow up for Duncan Ward. He's trying to drive that outside. Matthew Hubert saying, guys, keep it up because he is coming in that number 5. See if he can get there. Duncan Ward ahead at the line of Bruno Giacomo. Giacomo still a lap down. Just let him by, Duncan. Now within 3/4 of a second, Hubert he's got the popcorn ready and he is ready for this battle to commence, and so are the fans. Look at outside. They're getting riled up. Got a battle for the lead getting ready to manifest here in the Coca-Cola 600 in the waiting laps of this race. Oh, baby, this is going to be exciting. But, of course, Hubert has lap traffic behind him as well of BB Ruiz there in the 1. Will Ruiz get involved and hinder the battle for the race lead?
Boy.
Oh, big gain there by Hubert. Ward slides up on corner exit. But Hubert doesn't jump to the inside.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think for the first time tonight, Duncan's car has fallen off, and after Hubert's car has came to life, it is on fire here, late in this one at the perfect time. This is allowing Rutkowski to close back in, and what a fantastic race this has been. Who says we need a caution in a full-lap race? BP Ruiz is trying to do outside. These leaders are not going to be happy with any of these lap cars, but I was gonna say, hey, they are also battling with each other because Giacomo, because he got past the leaders, now he's battling for position with Wyatt Wilson and Brad Leen. So this battle's all over the place. And we might have battle for the race lead. Great one off turn 4 for the 5 of Matthew Hubert trying to get a second win on the season here tonight.
Goodness. Look at all this traffic ahead of them now.
Oh boy. Whew.
I'm surprised Duncan's been able to keep this thing out front with all these lap cars. Hubert was right there. But now, the window's open to make it to the end of this race. And this has also brought Joe Rakowski into the fray as well. He's also going to have a shot with all these lap cars around our race leaders. He's right there now on the back bumper as well. We're just going to have to see. The cycle of pit stops is going to determine who wins this race and who's going to have the cleanest stop, because Duncan Ward does not have a buffer anymore. That 5 machine's right behind him and could easily undercut him and take this race lead if he wanted to. He's actually going to try to undercut him right now for the race lead.
Ooh, what a block into turn 3. And you gotta think, these lap cars are holding up the top 2 and letting Rakowski close in. That's also allowing this 47 of Stuart Brown to close back in. And that's gonna be a massive factor as well. And here we go, pass for the race lead. Matthew Hubert to the top spot, takes it late from Duncan Ward.
And I can imagine Duncan Ward is going on a Joey Logano-style rant towards Austin. You remember Austin Cindric at Talladega? He's going on a rant like that about the lap traffic. As the last pit cycle of the race is about to manifest, there goes Bruno Giacomo into the pits. Now Duncan Ward is finally clear of the lap traffic. Matthew Hubert into the lead. First driver in about 80-something laps, not named Duncan Ward, that has led this race with, of course, taking out of consideration cycle of green flag pit stops. But we'll see who's going to come in this time. I believe Hubert's going to come down. I believe the 8's going to come down as well, looking for Ward. Oh, yeah, good move here, and Rakowski comes in as well. This is going to get interesting. All of the top 3 coming down together.
Pit
and now if you're
crews.
Stuart Gratton, you're hoping for a caution.
Yeah, Gratton stay out. Well, we try to put attention on the pit crews, and this is why we have 3 pit stops. It's going to come down potentially to the pit crews to win the longest race of the season here tonight. They are all in at the same time. White sides are going up. Is it going to be white sides, or are all these guys going to do 4 tires? Oh, it's going to be a 4 tires stop.
The script of Cars 3 is playing out right in front of us.
Oh,
Hubert gets the jump.
Slow stop.
Oh, slow exit for Duncan Ward. Unbelievable scenes here at Charlotte. Rakowski off second. Hubert holds on to the top position of this group, and he may assume the lead once again. Here goes Gratton in. Rogel Dorn out. The 12 of Sandovalle out. Oh, baby, this is going to be something here in these final 10 laps.
Stewart, well, he's not going to do it. He's going to go 4 tires. If I was Stewart, I would have gone 2 tires right there. And man, I don't know. I don't know if that would have worked. That actually probably would not have worked out long run. So we'll see now how Stewart ends up falling in relation to the rest of these drivers here. Matthew Hubert with a great stop. Joe Rakowski able to keep with him, and Duncan Ward, they're choking, and they're like real-life RCR right there. That was not a good exchange for Duncan Ward, who was the dominant driver of this race. You see Rakowski there quite a ways behind this 5 machine of Matthew Hubert, who has a significant lead now here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Oh my goodness, and that is why we put emphasis on the pit crew here in the JBL Cup Series. On the 3rd stop of the night, the money stop, and the 8 has a bad one, but I will say, Logan Williams is not pitting yet in the number 38 machine. I don't know where he is even at. He just now came off pit road. That could be interesting. Maybe.
Well, Hubert's going to have the lead. We're just waiting for the standings to update as they come around this time. But, of course, he's also getting draft there from the 10 of Bruno Giacomo. That's going to make things even harder for Joe Rakowski, I would think, even trying to catch the 5. Here comes Hubert down to the inside of the 10 of Giacomo, and Rakowski's actually got draft from the 22 of Bradley Ream, and he's tucking in behind that 22. Does he know something we don't know?
Is it a technical alliance here? Well, obviously there isn't, but is it a temporary alliance, I should say? It's not even going to
not working out right now.
I think that 5 is just
Hubert got around Giacomo, so that's going to make things even more difficult for Rutkowski. Now Rutkowski's hitting the panic button and getting to the inside of Ream. There he goes into turn number 3. He's got to find that secret NOS button now. He's running
Oh,
out of time as
no.
we're coming around for 7 laps to go. And what happened to the 6 of Anthony Hernandez?
We were
Driving
caught
for RFK, that's what happens.
A well, yeah.
a gearbox
I guess
failure.
that circles back to what I said earlier. He's driving the 6 car, but goodness, now he's actually out of the race.
Well, I liked his call earlier of doing the overcut, doing something different, and unfortunately the motor explodes on that machine. With 6 laps to go, it is Matthew Hubert, Joe Witkowski, Duncan Wood in third after dominating the Coca-Cola 600, Stuart Grant in fourth, and well, never mind, there was a battle for fourth between Singledale and Grant. And how about Allison in number 41? I think he was one of the very first ones to pit here, and he got that trap position, and he needs that. He is low in the wild card fight, and he might steal a top 10 from these guys. Barlow in 7th, and then in 8th is Juan Garcia, 9th is Jordan Edwards, and then we got a very intense battle between a lot of big names for the final spot inside the top 10. Eli Bright, Logan Williams, Travis Quinton, Local Thorne, and the 34 of John Anderson, all trying to get a top 10 spot with 5 laps to go in the Coca-Cola 600.
And it's looking really good for Matthew Hubert right now, who he clearly had the fastest car at the end of the last stint, and that has continued on here. And unless something drastic happens at the end, and it's not over until it's over. We've seen many things happen. It's looking very good for the driver, the number 5, and Matthew Hubert, who is found on full burst of speed at the end of this race, looking to get this Coca-Cola 600 race victory.
He hung back just enough while Duncan Ward used up his stuff and got caught up in lap traffic, got around him before the pit cycle manifested, and Duncan had a catastrophic pit stop on that last cycle. He'll still look like he may come home with a top 3, at least a top 5, at least a top 5 finish. We'll see if Samadeo can get around him. And taking a peek to the inside, Ward's doing a good job of defensive driving right now, but 2 laps to go this time through for Hendrick Motorsports' Matthew Hubert to get his 2nd career win in this series. And oh, what a place, what a race, and what a night to get it done. If he doesn't blow the motor on that thing, I don't want to jinx him just yet, but we'll see what happens. I think he's going to be just fine. Coming around the turn, 1 more lap.
1 more lap from Matthew Hubert. The probably want to go here in a crazy, caution-free, and battle-filled race here in the Coca-Cola 600. And ironically, it's going to be the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar car getting the race win. Copy and pasted from what he did at Homestead. 1 at Pocono last year in Season 5. 1 at Homestead this year. And well, this might be his biggest win yet. Not only could this make him into the chase leaving here tonight, but Matthew Hubert, you are a crown jewel winner. You win the Coca-Cola 600.
And that was the fastest car at the end, and that's what counts in a race like this. And how about this, Nathan? Caution-free here for 150 miles at Charlotte Motor Speedway. They did an excellent job, and what a great race here tonight. And Matthew Hubert absolutely earned that in the Coca-Cola machine in the Coca-Cola 600.
Joe Rutkowski comes home 2nd as well. He came in 19th in the championship standing, 60 below the cut line, tied, you mentioned, with Alexander Rowe, Nathan, who was worked his way up for a 6th place finish. They're both going to potentially move up in the standings. Crampton fell back towards the end. He's 18th in the standings. Nick Lopez comes home with a 15th place finish. And we'll sort the points out at the end, but they're going to shake up between 11th and 20th. That is for sure. But again, what a race here tonight. What a drive by Matthew Hubert. Heartbreak for Duncan Ward. But Duncan, what a performance tonight. Nothing to be ashamed of here. could have still been there at the end if it hadn't been for that mistake on pit road, but holds on for a podium finish. Gotta watch out for him the rest of this season. He's gonna be something special.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I thought it was gonna be something special here tonight for Duncan Wood, but the pit crew got a slow pit stop late, and Matthew Hubert had a fast car late and a fast pit crew late, and he gets the second win on the season, second win on a mile and a half, won at Homestead early on, and it's gonna be very interesting on what Hubert can do. I think he could be a contender and make it into the chase, especially with how many speedways we have left. Michigan Speedway, Pocono is a speedway. Nashville's a speedway, and then you got the World Course of World America and a short track of New Hampshire. So you got 3 speedways, 1 World Course, and 1 short track. If you look good here, you can make the chase. I'm surprised that stayed caution-free. I was fairly surprised that we didn't have any significant mechanical failure that really stopped on the racetrack. And Matthew Hubert steals it. Caution-free. This race had 3 cautions last year, so it's good to see a caution-free race. But what a race that was. Battles all over the place. And Matthew Hubert gets the second one on the season. Wilkowski, Ward, San Badillo, go in the top 5. Great run from Alexander. He's going to be in contention for the wild card spot. And there's a chance that Matthew Hubert could maybe be in the top 10 in points. Maybe. I don't know. If that's the case, then we'll get the second wild card leaving tonight. Trey Bottle, Juan Garcia, Jordan Edwards, all 400 cars inside the top 10. Logan Williams got a top 10 late, another top 10 for him. That's his 8th top 10 on the season now. And Travis Crampton, it's not a top 10, but it is a good one in the 11th. John Williams, Eli Bright, Logan Dwan fell off late. Nick Lopez out, Sam Vitale, Jordan Stout. Not going to get a good result here in the 600 this time. And then Ron Connington and Abel fell back. And then a surprising night from Andy Miller in the 20th position. And he might lose the point lead to, I want to say, maybe Stuart Glenn. So that's going to be interesting for that one. Good one from Matthews in 21st. And then all these guys were 1 lap down. Self-Strike 2 laps down. Fitzwater 4 laps down. Seidel 5 laps down. Ruiz 6 laps down. Don't lap into Ruiz, but Fitzwater and Seidel both had tires go that went down. And then unfortunately, tough way for Hernandez and Marco. Only 2 cars that retired, both with engine issues. And impressed that this has been caution-free, but Alex and Joshua are the final thoughts. If a caution-free Coca-Cola sits under in a late race win for Matthew Hubert.
Yeah, and that's just the nature of this racetrack. You have to have a fast car at the end of the race, and that is exactly what Matthew Hubert had in this one. Great run for those guys there. Joe Rakowski was second pretty much this entire race, and he still finished second, so that's got to hurt for Joe, who was winner last year. I'm noticing a bit of a pattern here. You know, Jordan Stout won 2 years ago, finished second last year. Joe Rakowski won last year, finished second this year. This means that Matthew Hubert's going to finish second next year.
Yes.
I know he probably doesn't want to hear that, but that's the pattern we got going on right now. But hey, what a great week of racing. And thank you, Nathan and Josh, for being a part of a lot of these races that we have had throughout the week on this channel, here on NS Racing 97, and of course over on AG, the channel as well. What a great Indy 250 week it has been. And thanks to all of you for tuning in and enjoying all these races. And hope you all have a fun time tomorrow with the Real Life Indy 500 and the Coke 600, and even the Grand Prix of Monaco in the morning too, if you're into that. Yeah, we'll see how it all goes down tomorrow. But great race here from Charlotte here, and Matthew Hubert gets it done in the JBL Cup Series Coca-Cola 600.
Absolutely, it's just wonderful week of racing, and we're not done yet. But just one word to sum up this race. Wow. What more can you say? Just battle, just comers and goers all night long. The strategy on pit road, the way it shook everything up, and the rise of Matthew Hubert as the night went along. this is going to be one that's going to be talked about for a while in the community for the JBL regarding the JBL Cup Series. What a race, man. Thank you for having me on, Nathan. I appreciate it. It's been a joy to call this race, and Alex, for you as well. It's been a joy to call some races with you as well. I hope to be able to do more in the future, but it's been a good week to come back in the booth for. This has been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see where the rest of this season goes, because, man, this championship is going to get spicy.
Oh yeah, the points battle, the wild card battle, the cutoff battle. When I say the parity, I mean it. It might be spread out a smidge, but I think it's going to come down to the final race on 4th of July weekend at Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, so we really know who will win the regular season title and make it into the season 6 chase. Huge thanks for Alex and Josh for joining me up here for a great caution-free race, and we don't see those too often here, especially for 100 laps at Charlotte, but we didn't need one because the racing throughout the entire field still was fire. So it's gonna be a fun one. Gonna take a off week as I have to recover from I don't know, the real life Indy 500 tomorrow, but 2 weeks from now will be the 5 race stretch to the end of the regular season at 5 totally different racetracks, and it all starts at Michigan in 2 weeks time. So gonna be a fun race to the chase in both Cup and National, and we're only getting started. Congratulations to Matthew Hubert and Reggie Fogelman and Hannah Schools on a stolen race win at the end, and we'll see you guys 2 weeks from now at Michigan International Raceway for, I believe, the coldest one. Not entirely sure, but we'll see you guys next time at Michigan.